Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about a topic that's really near and dear to my heart. My name is Rinnie, and let me begin. Do you recognize who this is? Freddie Mercury. Yes, that's right. This is Freddie Mercury, a legendary vocalist from the British rock band Queen. Now, he was born in Zanzibar, Tanzania, to Indian Parsi parents. He was later sent to Bombay, India, at the age of 10, and later moved to England at the age of 17. He was what we call a TCK. TCK, now you may have heard of this abbreviation, perhaps or perhaps not. Let me enlighten you anyways. TCK is an acronym used for the term third culture kid. Now you may be wondering, who is a third culture kid? Well, according to Mr. Google, third culture kids are people who grew up in countries other than their parents' nationality or their own nationality. Around the world, there are approximately 230 million TCKs. That's quite a lot, isn't it? Now, you must be thinking, they grow up with so much culture, be it the culture around them or the culture they grow up with at home. Now, for some, this may be true, but for most, it's only what it looks like on the surface. But before we get into origin experiences, let's first talk about origins. Where does this term originate from? And does it actively describe the experience? Now, this term was first coined in the 1950s by two researchers, John and Ruth Useem. Now, they coined this term while in India to describe the children of American citizens working and living abroad. Later, it wasn't only used for American citizens' children, but all children working and all children living in countries other than their own. Now, you must be wondering, why am I talking so much about a topic that has absolutely nothing to do with me? Actually, it does have something to do with me. I'm a TCK. I know, I'm shocked too. I definitely relate to the notion that we grow up with a lot of different cultures, but sometimes fitting into those cultures is a lot harder than it seems. Let me explain. When I was a kid, all my friends were Thai, and they all spoke Thai, but I didn't understand any of them. And all my family members also spoke Hindi, and I didn't understand that either. So you see, I was left with just one language, English, because you would think being a TCK would make me multilingual, or at least bilingual, but alas, I was just left monolingual. This is because when I was growing up, my parents mainly spoke English to me, and I went to an international school. So this left me with just one language, and it made it very difficult for me to understand others and make me feel like I fit in. But let me elaborate. The other day, I was on FaceTime with one of my aunts, and she was speaking in both Hindi and English. Now, I understood the English bit, but the Hindi was honestly taking a bit out of me. By one point, she just completely switched over to Hindi, and I couldn't understand anything she was saying. So I just continuously nodded to what she was saying, and later kept the phone, because I had no idea what she was saying. This language barrier is a problem that most TCKs face. According to an article written by TCKs of Asia in 2020, most TCKs end up speaking a different language from either one of their parents or both of their parents. This creates a disconnect or a lack of communication with the people closest to them, their families. Now you must be thinking, this has absolutely nothing to do with me, but it actually does. The idea is there. Most TCKs face a difficulty with language, be it their home life or their social life. They have a problem with language. Now, because of this problem, it makes it very hard for them to grow up in an environment that makes it feel like they belong. This is why being a TCK heavily affects a child's sense of belonging and identity. Speaking of belonging and identity, have you ever asked a TCK, where are you from? You might notice that they get a face of a face of disgust, or even uncomfort. This is because this question is a lot harder for TCKs than it is for most people. This is because most TCKs are from one place, but born and raised in another. This is slightly awkward and maybe even a bit embarrassing to describe, and it makes them feel like they don't belong to either country. Now, as I mentioned before, there are approximately 230 million TCKs around the world, and at least half of them feel like this, including me. Just understanding this problem would bring a closer society, stronger bonds, and a more close-knit community of people. This is why my takeaway for today is going to be steps to help TCKs feel more accepted and more included. The first step is being more understanding of people different from us. Now, this is a very simple thing, but most people still don't practice it to this day. And my second step is being more accepting of people, or TCKs rather, and accepting them generally. They may not speak your language, but they're friendly. Strike up a conversation with them. Become friends. These are my 2 basic steps to help TCKs feel more accepted and more understood. Now, to end, I would like to quote Max Dupree. We need to give each other space to grow, to be ourselves, to exercise our diversity. We need to give each other space so that we may both give and receive such beautiful things as ideas, openness, dignity, joy, healing, and inclusion. Thank you so much.